I'm Hilary, a mom in Oklahoma, and I am barely hanging on for dear life.
And I'm Hannah, a stay-at-home mom in Texas who is under tornado watches.
This is the Don't You Two Read podcast, and hi, we're so glad that you're here, you guys. I'm like, what am I even saying now? We're so glad that you're here, you guys. we're a hot mess express lately, but we are glad that you're here. We're glad that we're here. A little time to chill out.
I feel like that's what our podcast name should be at this point.
Hot
Like,
mess express.
or like escape room reading.
Escape room, rage room.
Yeah, I mean, the options are endless.
Yeah, it's been that way. It's life's been that way lately, guys.
I feel like that's a good representation, probably for everybody though. Like, that's the whole point, right? Like, reading is our escape.
hmm Yeah, and I think we've gone through the whole gamut of life and emotions and everything this year because we're approaching, guys, a year of the
I
podcast
know.
soon. Yeah, because I think one of our first episodes was like summer books. So I think it was soon. I need to check the exact date, but it's very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. So, just a little update for you guys, just to give you an overview of what's going on. So, today we're going to talk about Relic, which we will try to advertise as like just listen for funsies. No need to go and read it yourself. Um, we're just going to do a little bit of that. And then we plan to be short and sweet today. Next week, we will talk about another trope, like deep dive into a trope. That's the plan. And then we have a plan to do like a summer book club. I mean, you guys don't have to join in if you don't want to or anything, but for us, a book club for us too. And we are going to read a lot of books and just talk about them. And that's going to be like what we do for the summer because this summer, especially, like it's hectic. Hannah's traveling, I'm traveling. We just have a lot going on. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to do book club books. And I don't know how many we'll get out. We'll see how many I guess it depends how quickly we read through them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's it. We're just going to do summer book club. And then in the fall, we will get back to our scheduled programming and see what that is. We have a few ideas of what the new year is going to look like, but we are excited. We're not going anywhere yet. Yeah, not yet. We still have ideas.
Yeah, a whole year. I remember like week 2, you were like, we're gonna run out of ideas, that's it. But we've also adjusted. We need to do an
hmm
episode about like how what we've done. But not
Yeah,
today.
maybe we'll do that after the summer. Like
Yeah.
after summer book club, be like, okay, this is what we think we're gonna work on this next year, what didn't work, what did work, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Because yes, we are always adjusting and no guarantee that we will not adjust again. We're just trying to work in our normal lives. We're like you guys, you know? We're barely making it in Maycember. That's what I heard someone call it. They're
Uh,
like, May is so insane. It's like December. It's the new December.
yeah, I saw someone say that. She's like, it's like December, but with no presents.
No decorations, no
Yeah.
tree,
Yeah.
nothing. No cookies, just work. Yeah, it's rough, but this is like our little weekly getaway. So that's why I told someone recently because I didn't know she actually listened to our podcast and she was like, I love your podcast. I love listening to it. I'm like, oh, it's always so like I feel so awkward when someone tells me that because I'm like, I know I make it, but I don't actually intend for anyone to listen.
I know.
Because I'm like, no one listens. I always tell Hannah, I'm like, it's literally
Uh,
just us. But then when someone's like, I love your podcast, I'm like, oh, I feel so, I'm surprised.
you're like, I'm so
But
sorry.
yeah, I know I'm embarrassed. But she's like, she was talking to me. She's like, I think that's so fun that you and your sister can do it. And I said, yeah, it's really like we just started it like because Hannah moved and we are like, this will be a nice time for us to just, talk for an hour every week. And so I told her I don't really see it stopping as long as like we do that because it's our like weekly connect time. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Okay, so let's talk about Relic. This book is by um Douglas Preston, is that correct? Hang on, I
Douglas
have.
Preston and Lincoln Child.
Yes, a duo. And
Mhm.
it was published quite a long time ago in like the 90s, early 90s. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
1995.
yeah, a long time ago.
And fun fact, this is part of the number one, the book one of the Odysseus Pendergast series, which, according to my research, there is 22 out currently, and they are still going. So
That's insane.
that is, yeah, that's wild. I saw it on NetGalley, and I was like, hold up. I sent it to Hillary. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
These people are still writing
Mm-hmm.
in this same
Yeah.
series. Like, wow.
Yeah, it is impressive. Okay, so I might be all over the place, I'll be honest with you. So it's funny because I'm looking at the overview of this and it says it's a 1995 debut novel. So this is our first novel together. And the overview says it's a techno thriller.
No.
I thought that was interesting. I'm like, I don't know what a techno thriller is, but it says it's about a mysterious Amazonian creature on a murderous rampage in New York City's Museum of Natural History. I don't like that description because first I feel like that's really spoilery, first
Mm.
of all. And then it says FBI agent Pendergast teams up with museum scientists to capture the beast known tribally as Mbun. Whatever, I forgot how they say that. How did you say it?
I don't know, but I've been waiting because I was like, how is she gonna say?
Wow. Which means he who walks on all fours. One. Hang on, I have my audio here. Let's find it.
And the Mbun legend is not
Mbun.
mere fabrication.
That was right. See?
You did not say that.
Mbun.
I don't
I don't
know.
know, whatever.
Nobody knows what you're saying. What is it? What are you saying? Is it the name of the creature?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the
Oh.
Mbun legend.
Oh, it's a tribe, right?
Mbwun.
I think it's a tribe, like an
Yes,
ancient tribe.
yes,
Yes.
it's the tribe.
Okay, okay. I got
Oh
lost.
my
Well, you said
God.
it so many times, and I was like, I don't even know what.
Okay, I don't like that description. That's what I was trying to say. I don't like it. The description I saw didn't say any of that. The description I saw basically said there are a series of like dead bodies being found in this museum, and we don't know if it's a serial killer or something supernatural, basically. And so they obviously, because I say obviously, that may not be obvious, but because if it's a serial killer, they call in the FBI. So that's why we have the FBI agent Pendergast, and he's coming to investigate. And I was like, oh, interesting. Like maybe serial killer, could be a monster, could be, we don't know, but we know deaths are happening in the museum. And this exhibit is opening. It's supposed to be this elaborate thing
Mm-hmm.
in their whatever, at their event thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought the premise was really good.
Yeah, yes. So the description on Goodreads talks about that there's a huge exhibition that's going to open at the like this natural history museum, that different visitors are getting murdered, and yeah, you don't know. They're like, well, it shows it cannot be human, but there's just no way it's something else.
Hmm.
So, yeah, the description definitely pulled me in. I know, like, because I got this book at my library and it was in the thrillers. That's where they sectioned
Hmm.
it.
I don't know where else you would put it though. I mean,
Well,
what?
okay.
Mystery?
I mean, paranormal? I don't know.
Horror? But
And
horror, does your library have a horror?
yes, and Goodreads does have that. It has horror, thriller, mystery, sci-fi, crime. I don't know. Okay, I guess I don't know how you want to do it. I don't really have many notes because I started to take notes, and then like I mean I literally have like two notes and
Okay, I don't
that's
have a
it.
lot of like notes like about the plot or a lot of things. I have thoughts though. I do have like thoughts about what I
Okay.
think about this. So I was really interested by the premise because I mean, you guys know by now, I love mysteries. So, like, especially if it's like, oh, it could be a serial killer. And then I love, like I've said, like the focus of law enforcement or that perspective. So I was excited by that. All like elements that I'm like, I love. And we have read what books are like we talked about Into the Drowning Deep, we've talked about Jurassic Park. Like I'm not opposed to something being, I don't know what to call it because I just said supernatural. I think whenever we say supernatural, we tend to think of like ghost or stuff like that, but I'm talking about like something outside of, yeah, I mean our natural world.
Mm-hmm.
So a monster, would a monster be
But
supernatural?
I mean, yeah, but
Paranormal? I don't
that's why
know.
I said paranormal. I'm mad about the way that this ended. That's what it all comes down to for me. But but yes,
Yeah,
because it's a
so
monster. Or that when I was starting the book, that is what I thought because the cover of the book has like a little creature looking thing
and mine
and
didn't. Mine didn't.
okay, mine had a little creature thing, kind of looked like a gorilla
Hmm.
dinosaur type of creature. And so I was thinking I think this Jurassic Park messed me up because nothing is ever going to be as good as that. And so I was like, "Oh, maybe this will give me that feeling." No, it did not. And I don't know what kind of monster I wanted, but this was not the kind of monster I wanted. And I don't know where, like, what genre I would throw this in. But yes, so at first, like, in the middle of the book, I was thinking, hmm, maybe this monster, because I didn't think it was a man. Like, at no point was I thinking, okay, yeah, it's a human. I was like, no, it's a monster. It's going to be a
Yeah,
dinosaur
they
egg.
did. The blurb made it seem like it was maybe a person. But then as soon as you start the book, you're like, no, it talks about like
The
the,
claws.
yeah, like in fur and like the talon,
They said maybe a person is using,
like the talon.
yes, to cut.
Yeah, but there was like drool, or they talked
No.
about like drool, and I was like, no.
So
Um,
immediately we know that there's like a creature. But
yeah, it's a
then
creature.
did you at some point think that it was going to be like a curse? I was concerned. I was like, are we going to go into like cuckoo, like a,
Okay, this is the vibes I got, or like maybe what it was trying to do. And I will first go ahead and say this book came out 30 years ago, right?
yes.
Yes. And it has like a very high rating on Goodreads, like for something, which for 30 years of reviews, that's very high. So it is well loved. I will say that. I felt to me like it was trying to be Indiana Jones because like the
Mm,
first, like they have the I'm sorry, not exhibit, yeah, exhibition, like in the tribes and screaming.
mhm,
But I really struggled. I think you said that I saw on your vlog after I finished the book. Like I I wasn't that hooked at the very beginning. Like whenever they're going on their tribe
mhm,
or like getting these relics. I
mhm,
thought it was not as exciting as I wanted it to be. And I was like, what the heck is happening? We see someone running into a hut and coming back with white hair. And it felt like it was trying to be Indiana Jones, which I
mhm.
will say I love Indiana Jones. But I think sometimes I love Indiana Jones because I love Harrison Ford more than I love, I don't know. Anyway, I was more interested once we actually got to the museum
Mhm.
itself. So I liked that. I loved the setting. I think I told Hannah that. I was texting her. Like I loved the museum setting. I loved like I don't know, I felt like the museum was a whole like character. I loved it was like that was the only thing that we saw this whole book besides the intro was like the halls and the basements and the offices, and it's like her off Margot's office had like an aquarium in it, and but like I don't know, I felt like they did a great job in describing their place.
Mhm.
Like I felt like I could visualize this like algae ridden, and a like tank, and then I kept thinking of like the killer mermaids because the book Hannah read. um so I love the museum setting. I thought I wish this one was better because that setting was like perfect for like crimes, and I
Yeah.
don't know. I love that. And then I told Hannah Margot, um, I just kept picturing like Nancy Wheeler from Stranger Things because it was around the same time period, same age. And so
Mhm.
I was excited about that. I'll be honest, I felt like the book was very disjointed because like the book says it's about Pendergast, but I don't feel like we see Pendergast very enough. They
Mm-hmm.
acted like he was the lead character, and we just kept getting different perspectives of people that I didn't know.
Many, many perspectives. And I remember when we read Jurassic Park and you mentioned that, like you were like, "Oh, did you have a hard time following who was talking?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." But I can understand that. This one I did. I had a hard time like just constant changing of whose perspective. And I think the reason why I had a harder time with this one compared to Jurassic Park was I'm curious how you felt. I felt like a lot of the characters in this one were very like gray. Like I didn't feel like much distinction between the characters. Like I had a hard time keeping them all straight because I'm like sometimes they would refer to each other as the last names and then sometimes they would refer to them as their first names. And so then I
And
was
then sometimes
confused.
we only saw them like once.
Yeah, and like there was one that it was a lady and when I was reading it like with my eyes, I don't think I even realized it was a lady because they kept calling her by her last name. And then in the audio, it was like a lady talking, or like they said, she, and like they mimicked like the sound of a lady. So I very much so I knew it was a lady based on the audio. And so I was like, "Oh, this is a lady." Like I don't know. I just had like the hardest time. I don't know if I was having a hard time focusing or if I was just like the characters I could not distinguish clearly other than Margot, but like the rest I was like this is a big blur.
Okay, so read slash listened to this on Kindle Unlimited. I loved that it had that option. Like
Hmm.
it, you could go back and forth. So I could like listen to it while I was driving, and then I could pick up my Kindle and continue on from there. And I actually thought, like, I could tell this was recorded a long time ago, and I thought the like, I thought he did a really good job
Hmm.
on it. And it was done a long time ago, you could tell, but it's like the way he made his voice for phone calls or
There was like the echoey. Did you notice that?
yeah,
That was
and the
so.
tunnels.
See, I didn't know it was super old because of that. Like I was like, "What is this technology?"
I think it was recorded a while ago.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It was really good though. I did like the audio
Yeah, it wasn't
experience.
his fault. Um, but yeah, it felt a little disjointed to me. Like it was kind of all over the place. Um, as indicative of like the 90s, there's a lot of like sexism and
Hmm.
I mean, it's fine. Like, no, sexism is not fine, but it's just it was like with the times, like I think
Hmm.
accepted like behavior, I guess, at the workplace kind of. So, but I don't know. I guess I'm trying to figure out how I felt about it. I didn't hate it. I think Hannah may have hated it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it either. It was lackluster to me. And I felt here's why. It felt very unbelievable to me.
Hmm.
Very. And that it just depends on what kind of monster you like to read about, Because
Did you see what Josh told me?
oh, what wasn't your type of monster or
Yeah,
something?
sorry, I'm not the right monster for you,
Oh,
Hannah.
like Jacob.
Yeah,
I
because we
mean,
need
it's
to get into it.
true.
We need to talk about it. So, there's a monster creature. I don't know. Like at first, I thought it was like a curse, and then they have this whole like eggs. There are the eggs, the
Or they thought they were
ancient eggs.
seeds first.
Yeah, the seed pods, but they're like, what's bumpy like that? Eggs. So then we're thinking, okay, maybe it's some sort of dino egg. And then they were like, this was a creature that got rid of all the dinos. Like, this is why the dinosaurs went extinct. Do you remember that?
He
And
thought it was like not the missing link, but whatever.
okay, but see, I can go with that. I was like, ooh, okay, like that was when I was like, okay, I'm like getting interested. That like you've got me a little hooked. Where there was the whole concept. I don't know who suggested it in the book. How he's like, whenever a population grows too big, something has to come. Like a predator will come and kind of like clear out that um major population. And he's like, what is the biggest population right now? Humans. So maybe like this is the way of the predator. And I thought that was interesting for this type of book. I can ride with that. I did not like how we get to the very end, the epilogue.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They have like these leaves or something, plant
Mm-hmm.
particles
The little
and
fibers.
fibers, and you eat them and you
Mm-hmm.
become this monster. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What is
That's what it was the whole
this?
time. She was actually not screaming about the statue. She was screaming about the fibers that we had. That's what they said.
So
Or,
one of the
yeah.
scientists, right? One of the scientists was the monster. That like one of them that they
Yes.
thought,
Yes. Uh-huh. Whittleby, or I think, yeah.
yeah, like I just what in the world, guys? I don't know. And then I like because Josh is like, I don't understand. What's the problem? I was like, the monster is a man who ate fibers and became a monster with claws, like with talons, eating brains. I just what is this? It reminds me of that
Yeah.
like Spider-Man lizard man. No, it's
The
fine in
green dobby.
Spider-Man. No, there's a lizard. A giant
Oh. Oh,
lizard.
yeah, yeah.
Literally
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm really mad. And that was the thing, guys. I felt very neutral, like bored, but like okay, like I could swing either way. And then it was just like, I was not fully convinced. I was at like 3 stars. And then the epilogue, and I was like, no, I'm done.
Okay. I think for me, like, so the difference is Jurassic Park, obviously, like, we know dinosaurs are not like roaming the earth. There's no amusement park of dinosaurs. But Michael Crichton and also Mira Grant, sorry, who wrote Into the Drowning Deep, I feel like they went at lengths to provide fake research. You know what I mean? Like scientific research.
They also had the benefit of creatures that we are familiar with. So, like
Yeah.
dinosaurs, they were real. Mermaids are part of like very common mythology.
Hmm.
Whereas
And
this
something that you're
creature,
like, just like the Loch Ness monster
yeah.
or Bigfoot, Sasquatch, like things that aliens, things that we have a general idea of.
Hmm.
But um, but the research, I know it's fake. I realize it's fake. But to me, they
The
compile
research.
it enough that it looks like real research. So to where I'm reading it, I'm like, literally when I finish either book, like Jurassic Park, I was like, this could truly happen. Like it has me Googling literally, like, can they get DNA from
Which
a
apparently it
mosquito?
can.
Yeah, like we're seeing all sorts of stuff, but it had me researching on my own. So like books like that, or like, I know this is not science fiction, but like Daisy Jones and the Six was like so much backed up. It's fake, but like so much stuff is in there that you're like, maybe this band existed. Like
Hmm.
that type of writing that you're like, this feels real.
Hmm.
That is what I like. And that to me is more scary, to where you're like, I don't know, like this could happen. Or like you're like they talk about how deep the ocean is, and you're like, maybe there is something living there that we haven't found before. Like, how do you know? We haven't combed every bit. The ocean is still largely unexplored. That kind of stuff. I'm like, that is a little spookier to me than this man ate some fibers in the jungle and now became a god, and now he's eating that, and it had these chemicals in it that also are found in the, what is it, like hematoma, and that's a like
Yeah.
that's
The
wrong. It's not the hemat, that's a like a, that's not
no,
it.
the
Redact.
hypothalamus. Is that what
Yeah,
it was?
yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, what fibers have the same matter as human brains? I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid, but I've never heard of such a thing. So I'm like, I don't I that like that took me out of it right there. Yeah, and I'm like, no, 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 no fibers, no eating brains. Like that's just and then and I know like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, they're very intelligent. So I'm okay with that, but they're intelligent for an animal. That's the contingency, for an animal. They are smart for an animal. They're not like communicating with you and talking back and forth, and it's different. It's still frightening because they're very aggressive and dangerous. It's not the same. This thing was keeping souvenirs of his kills and hanging up
Yeah.
necklaces on nails in his wall, a little cave. No.
Mhm.
I'm like, that is
And then
ridiculous.
someone was like begging him to not eat him, and he's like, okay. Or like he didn't say okay, but like he backed away and went and found somebody else.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's more too, because this is not the end of this creature. Did you see that?
It's not? No. Oh,
No.
well, I saw the epilogue. You mean the epilogue?
Well, the epilogue, but in this series, there is another book of this monster.
I didn't know that.
Re Reliquary.
I assumed it would be another monster.
It's, I mean, it looks the same. It says hidden deep beneath Manhattan lies a warren of tunnels. Um, there lies the ultimate secret of the museum beast. So it's like here we go again, and here it is with Margot.
Oh.
Margot comes back
Oh.
again with Dagasta and Pendergast and Dr. Frock. So it's just here we go again.
I mean, I would like to know, but I don't want to read it. So I'm like, maybe I'll look up spoilers.
That one also has 4.4.
Yeah, see?
Who is reading these?
I think it has to be your type of monster, like Josh said. Like I know he's joking about it, but for real, like what is it that makes you scared? And if you're like a monster, ooh, a monster in the pipes, then maybe. It just literally felt like a an old movie monster. That's what it felt like, just like
Yeah.
this. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Just
Mhm.
but not with enough character or like character development to be something like you were saying, like the Green Gobby. I keep calling him Green Gobby because that's what Noah calls him.
Green
The
Goblin
Green Goblin. Yeah.
from
From
the
like Spider-Man. Like
from the
you
baby Spidey.
yeah, from yeah.
Oh my goodness. I
But
just
like that you get enough like backstory and that's a good villain, I think. Like those are good villains, but I don't know. It wasn't just I love the setting. I loved that's about it. I'm like, that's about it. Even
yeah,
Margot to me, I was like, and then she ends up being the one that kills it, right? I'm like, what? And the FBI agent couldn't do it? I don't know.
I yeah, I like I said, I think that if it had been an actual creature from the egg, I mean,
That was the other thing that what drove me insane. I was like, how did this creature get here to New York City to eat the fiber? They're like, these fibers don't exist. It's the only place they exist. Well, then how did it get here? And then it was like, it just hunted down. So I'm like, how? On a ship? It got on a ship? Did it swim across the ocean? Did it get in an airplane?
it was just the man, right? The man ate the fibers.
Yeah, years ago. Years and years and years ago. He was a monster
I
forever.
don't remember. Oh, 'cause he got the fibers from that place.
Yes, and then they
Yeah,
boxed everything up
I
and
think he
left.
he must have been boxed up, but how?
No, they said he
Well,
tracked them down. No, he
yeah,
tracked them down. And I was like, how did he get here to New York City and then
maybe that's book two.
made a little den in the
Yeah.
tunnels? No. I was like, he found his way across and they're like he must have been in so much pain, starving because he hadn't had anything to
Yeah.
eat for that long, long
Okay,
time.
but that's what I thought too, that at some point, like, okay, we at some point we've established that like people are dying in the museum, and like this is not like Jurassic Park where it's an island. Like this is a museum, and there's like the tunnels, like they have the basement. But I'm like, how is this just continuing to kill people in a contained building?
And not that many considering like four, which is I know a lot of people, but not that many considering they were like,
You're like,
oh my
not
God, it's
many.
dark. Yeah, it's not,
Like, how
it's
though?
starving.
At what point? I don't know. Come on, like they got all these police that are in there and they like we don't know, can't find him. How do you just not find I'm just confused. I'm like, what is this, a labyrinth of tunnels in the basement?
Yes. Okay. So I did research that myself.
Oh,
New
good.
York City apparently does have these tunnels, and I looked it up. It's not just the museum. It's
The whole
like,
city.
yeah, they're all over the city, and they did exist. So like, apparently that this is an actual place, the Museum of Natural History, sorry, in New York City. It's a real place, and I would love to go, like based on this, but I mean, it's like 100 years old. And so they did used to have like tunnels underneath for like water and then like places for workers to go underneath so that they could have all their like heating stuff, that they would have how they used to heat their buildings and where workers would have to go in and add like, I don't know, coal
Mm,
or whatever to heat up. But now they don't have a use for it, obviously, because now we have like central heat and air and
mm.
pipes and whatever. But New York City does have a lot of underground tunnels that you can tour, or they used to be like water places, like how they got water into the city or stuff like that.
So then it's not like contained.
No, they're pretty large apparently, and they're extensive. Like I read that one of them, one area, it's like a huge homeless camp. So it's like,
Oh my God.
it's very large. So yes,
Oh
but the way it was
no.
described, I was thinking like a hallway.
I was thinking like that too. Well, because they're like a basement and there's yeah, like the dark tunnels. And I'm like, well, yeah. So then that answers that question. Because again, I'm just thinking like, wouldn't you get light,
Yeah, light it up and like,
something, a perimeter? Like, how do you just not find a creature that is it? Like, I don't know. That just boggles my mind. But
I
that
mean,
if
I
it's
still think it's
all,
possible though. But if it's as smart as people, because it's a person.
oh my.
Yeah, so I gave it 3 stars and then now I'm like, I don't know, that felt generous, I guess, but
I gave it 2.5, which felt generous also.
I'm like, file this under sounds good, doesn't work.
Yeah, at least we tried. So.
Yeah, honestly, this was on my list forever and I heard it was really good, so I don't know. I obviously we're in the minority, so you got to pick your type of monster that you like though, guys. So if you were like, I saw a lot of people on your post though with the mermaid be like, oh, I don't know, I'd be too scared. I'm like, well, if you don't want to be scared, then this is for you're not gonna be scared.
I mean, the mermaids doesn't scare me either. You know what? But that's the thing. Everybody has a different thing that scares them, I guess. For me, ghosts and demons, I don't like,
Yeah.
I don't want it and I
Yeah, I don't
won't
like
I won't
ghosts
read it.
either.
But like a mermaid that is in the Mariana Trench, I'm like, okay, sure. Or like this little creature man eating fibers in the basement of a museum. I'm like, okay, come and get me. I mean, I'm not really worried. So I don't know. I guess yeah, what are you scared of? But this book was just overall not for me. I wouldn't even, I don't know. I don't have anybody to recommend it to. I'll be honest. It's a
Yeah,
big one. It's long.
yeah, it was big. I would say definitely read Jurassic Park before,
Yes. No,
definitely.
not
And
even
then
just before, just period.
yeah, like if you had to pick one, do Jurassic Park. But Into the
Yeah.
Drowning Deep, also another great one.
Yeah,
Um, but this one, no, not it for me.
I know.
Just watch Night at the Museum, I think, and you'll be good.
Not even the same thing.
It's set in the same place.
A family movie, a kid
It's set
movie.
in the same. If you want museum vibes, watch Night at the Museum.
Yeah. We will have to look up more. I want more of like monster books, but then I'm like,
They don't exist anymore. Well, maybe you need to read now Project Hail Mary. The
maybe,
science. Yeah, the
maybe,
science.
maybe sci-fi is something for me to explore. But
Yeah.
apparently it can go a win or a lose. So I don't know. Anyway, that's all. Not, I did not love it, and I did not have many notes, and I don't really recommend it. So
Yeah, I'm like, didn't love it, no notes. I'm like, is that how that goes? Yeah, hang on, guys, hang on. You can follow me at Hilary Reads,
and you can find me at Hannah Reads.
and you can find our podcast at Don't You To Read Podcast on Instagram. Go check us out though and follow us, like our show, rate it, please. That always helps us a lot. And we would really appreciate it. But check our Instagram because I'm going to be putting books on there of what you guys think we should read next, because I think we're going to try to do some Kindle Unlimited stuff. So, yeah, that's it.
Bye.
Bye.